Listen to this. That is the sound of a pizza crust shattering, exactly like a fresh croissant. We usually group pizza into rigid architectural categories. You have your cracker-thin tavern pies, heavy deep dish constructions, and the airy leopard-spotted Neapolitan style. For their 2026 Recipe of the Year, King Arthur Baking focused on a specific objective: engineering a pizza crust that sits outside these established architectures. The challenge lies in the mechanics, achieving the airy, crisp layers of a French pastry inside a sturdy sheet pan pizza, but without the 3-day labor of traditional lamination. Solving this required a hybrid architectural approach. By adapting a specific technique from high-end pastry, laminating the dough with frozen grated butter, they developed a way to layer the crust as it bakes. The foundation of this anatomy starts right here, with double O pizza flour. This graphic shows why that specific flour matters. The protein content sits perfectly at 11.5%. That precise number acts as a fulcrum, balancing the dough's ability to stretch, its extensibility, with its ultimate tenderness. If you push that protein level higher, the dough builds too much gluten and becomes dense and chewy, like standard bread. Hitting that 11.5% sweet spot allows the dough to retain the strength to hold distinct layers without sacrificing a soft, delicate bite. So the flour choice acts as the structural baseline. It ensures the final crust behaves like a delicate pastry rather than a heavy, dense pie. The core innovation of the recipe relies on a specific lamination shortcut, grating rock-solid frozen butter directly onto the rolled-out dough. This cross-section illustrates the mechanics. By wrapping the dough over itself in a classic letter fold, the grated butter gets trapped inside, creating distinct alternating strata of fat and flour. The thermodynamics of this process are highly strict. The butter must remain freezing cold. If it warms up and melts too early, it blends into the surrounding dough matrix and prevents those layers from separating. This technique mimics the multi-day process of making traditional laminated pastry doughs, delivering the same architecture in a fraction of the time. Once the dough is rolled out, it's transferred into a dark metal pan. That dark surface drives aggressive heat conduction straight into the pie's bottom for maximum crispness. Then comes a strict rule for the sauce. You can only apply a very light layer. Any heavier and the dough will waterlog, destroying the delicate pastry structure underneath. The cheese layering sequence is inverted from a standard pizza. The Parmesan cheese goes down first, sitting directly on the sauce, completely buried underneath the fresh and low-moisture mozzarella. There is a thermal reason for this inverted order. Parmesan is highly prone to burning during an extreme high-heat bake. Burying it under the mozzarella protects it from the harsh ambient temperature of the oven. Standard, heavy pizza topping methods would crush a pastry crust into a dense paste. Every element of this topping architecture is engineered specifically to protect the dough's fragile lamination. Entering a ripping hot 475-degree oven triggers an immediate and powerful thermodynamic shock across the crust. This diagram shows the resulting phase change. Water inside the frozen butter rapidly converts to steam. Steam takes up more volume, creating intense upward pressure that forces the dough layers apart. The flour then solidifies around these pockets, leaving massive, distinct flaky strata. The final crucial step happens the second the pizza leaves the oven, applying a garlic, basil, lemon oil directly onto the piping hot surface. This utilizes a culinary concept called blooming. The extreme residual heat of the cheese instantly vaporizes the aromatic compounds in the oil, pushing the sensory impact to its absolute maximum. Look at this final cross-section. You can clearly see the distinct, separated, croissant-like layers stacked throughout the slice. The flaky puff crust proves that applying advanced pastry science to accessible weeknight ingredients results in a sheet pan pizza that behaves like a high-end pastry.